Do you like movies?
Of course.
Today, we are counting down 9 modern Hollywood classics that will help you learn English. Ready? Let's get started. It's a pretty obvious bet that you've heard of Facebook before. But how did Facebook start? The social network tells the story of the young Mark Zuckerberg, a geeky Harvard student who wants to revolutionize the way we communicate with other people.
Relationship status. Interested in. This is what drives life in college. Are you having sex or aren't you? It's why people take certain classes and sit where they sit.
The story shows how Zuckerberg accidentally finds fame and becomes a multi-millionaire. But there is a price. You'll be able to pick up a lot of great English vocabulary related to computers, technology, and social networks. Speaking of great technology, if you like learning English with movies, you'll love Fluent U. Fluent U takes authentic videos like movie clips, music videos, and commercials and turns them into learning experiences. With Fluent U, you'll have access to endless videos and audio with interactive subtitles, plus great educational features like flashcards, a built-in video dictionary, and quizzes. Fluent U will help you have more fun and learn faster. You can listen to native speakers pronounce words, phrases, and sentences, and practice repeating them out loud. You won't have to wonder about how a word is used because you can tap on a word to look it up and see examples from other videos. In fact, with its video dictionary, you can look up almost any word that you want to know more about. You can even listen to audio clips of example sentences. Sounds awesome, right? Give Fluent U a try on desktop or with Fluent U's app for your iOS or Android device. Click on the link in the description for a free trial of Fluent U. Now, let's look at a movie that defines the idea of partying. In The Hangover, which is the word to describe the sick feeling the morning after drinking a lot of alcohol, 4 male friends go to Las Vegas for a bachelor party. The movie follows their wild adventures and how they find themselves in a lot of trouble. There's a tiger involved, a baby, a gangster, lots of alcohol, and, you probably guessed it, it's unsure whether they are going to make it back in time for the wedding or not.
We're getting married in 5 hours.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
For learning English, The Hangover is a great choice. First of all, it's very funny and uses a lot of visuals and physical humor.
I just wish your friends were as mature as you.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Paging Dr. Douchebag!
This makes it a lot easier to understand the dialogue between the characters.
You're not really wearing that, are you? The man purse.
I get a lot of compliments on this. Plus, it's not a man purse. It's called a satchel. Indiana Jones.
Next, let's learn about one of the best dystopian movies of recent times. A dystopia is an unfair, futuristic society.
2, 1.
The fascinating movie The Hunger Games is set in a fictional nation called Panem. In Panem, every year there are 2 young people from each district who are chosen to fight in the Hunger Games.
Honor of representing District 12 in the 74th Annual Hunger Games.
In terms of learning English, this is a very visual movie, and what you miss in the dialogue, you'll be able to understand because of the visual action. While the actions are fast, the language is relatively easy to understand, unlike other sci-fi and futuristic movies which use complex terms. The movie really has something for everyone, as it cleverly includes action, romance, comedy, and the future all in one movie.
Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor.
By the way, if you want to remember these movie titles for later, click on the link in the description to get a free PDF of the movies in this video with descriptions and examples.
Sheriff Woody, I'm here to stop you, one-eyed Bart!
Next, we will look at Toy Story.
You got a friend in me.
One of the most beloved children's movies in the English-speaking world. Toy Story is an animated, which means cartoon, movie that follows a young boy named Andy. Andy loves playing in his room with his toys, especially his cowboy toy, Woody. When Andy disappears, the toys come to life. Andy's mom gives him a new toy for his birthday, an astronaut named Buzz Lightyear, which becomes Andy's new favorite toy. Woody feels hurt and is jealous of the attention Andy gives his new toy, and as a result, he tries to get rid of him. However, as the two toys begin to fight, they get lost. This story follows their adventure and is full of action and a lot of laughs.
Hey, how you doing there? Back, you savages, back!
Toy Story is a great choice for learning English. Animated movies such as Toy Story are usually written for a younger audience, which means the story and vocabulary are not complicated. But even though the movie is mainly for kids, it doesn't feel like it. The director made it attractive for adults too, by including a little bit of adult humor in it.
You are a toy! You are a child's plaything! Anybody!
Next, let's look at an infamous drama. Castaway is an American adventure drama that follows Chuck Noland, played by Tom Hanks, whose job it is to travel around the world fixing problems at FedEx centers.
Stuck! Stuck how? In snow and ice? What? Stuck! The most important truck, the traveling truck!
FedEx calls Chuck at Christmas time to go to Malaysia on business, and he is forced to leave his girlfriend Kelly behind. Chuck's plane hits a terrible storm, and it crashes somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. Chuck manages to escape the crashed plane and holds on to life on a life raft in the cold sea. Eventually, he washes up onto a deserted island the next day. The story follows Chuck and his survival on the island, and his only friend, a volleyball he calls Wilson.
Wilson! Wilson!
Most of the dialogue in this movie is a monologue. That is, only one person talking. There are no complicated relationships or turnovers between different characters, which makes this movie very easy to follow. Tom Hanks is also known for his clear and slow voice, which is perfect for any English learner to understand.
You don't have to worry about anything. I'll do all the paddling.
And when you wake up, your hair sticks up.
We haven't included much romance on this list yet, so let's talk about 500 Days of Summer. From the opening moments, the narrator of the movie tells us that this is not your typical love story. On January 8th, a young architect called Tom Hansen meets Summer Finn. He falls in love with her almost right away, even though Summer tells him she doesn't believe in love.
Holy shit.
The English used in 500 Days of Summer is very simple to understand because it's a narrative from one person's perspective. The narrator speaking throughout the movie has a very clear voice.
These weren't stories routinely told. These were stories one had to earn.
And with the narrator's declaration that this isn't a typical love story, the movie catches the audience's attention from the beginning.
But you should know up front, this is not a love story.
The next movie we will look at is the 2008 blockbuster Twilight. When her mom remarries, Bella Swan, a teenager from Arizona, chooses to live with her dad in a small town in Washington. Her father's home is boring and rainy, and nothing interesting ever happens until she meets a mysterious and handsome man named Edward Cullen. Twilight is aimed at teenage and young adult audiences and uses simple, everyday English, making it a great learning tool.
You're out.
The slang and accents of the characters are clear and easy to understand. This movie is based on author Stephenie Meyer's series of books. And if you've already read the popular series in your own language, then you're going to understand the movie plot even more.
So the lion fell in love with the lamb.
One of the last movies we will look at today is The Breakup.
What I want.
You just said that you want me to help you do the dishes.
I want you to want to do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes?
In this movie, the two main characters, Gary and Brooke, meet at a Chicago Cubs, which is a popular American baseball team, game. They're attracted to each other immediately, and Brooke loves Gary's humor. They begin dating and soon buy a condo together.
Harvey.
Oh, careful. That's very hot.
Gary is a tour bus operator, and Brooke manages an art gallery. Their backgrounds are very different, and after living together, they find out that they have different interests.
Okay. All the talking is really starting to drain me, and now I'm going to have to watch the highlights later to see what I missed here.
They decide to break up, but they can't agree on what to do with their condo. Eventually, they decide to live together as roommates. The Breakup is full of everyday slang language which is used in many social situations. You'll learn language related to communicating with a partner and also some common lines used in an argument. It's a funny movie that is easy to understand and the humor is simple and clear, which will allow even non-native English speakers to understand the inside jokes.
Tank. Move yourself. You always live your life, never thinking of the future.
The last movie is potentially the most quotable film on the list. Forrest Gump begins with the main character of the same name, waiting at a bus stop where he begins telling his past story.
I've won lots of shoes.
All the way back to his childhood, to some strangers waiting for the bus. Forrest has a hard life. He has braces on his legs, and a lot of other children bully him. However, the positive part of his life is Jenny, who he meets as a child and falls in love with.
She was my most special friend.
One day, while he's running away from some kids bullying him, his leg brace breaks. He suddenly discovers he's very fast at running, which wins him a scholarship to college, even though he's not very smart. After graduating from college, he signs up for the war and heads to Vietnam to fight. There, he saves many friends' lives and he's awarded a Medal of Bravery. This is a perfect movie to learn English, as Forrest Gump speaks very slowly.
I didn't stay home for long because I'd made a promise to Bubba, and I always try to keep my promise.
The language is simple and uncomplicated, and it's really easy to follow. It will also teach you some important parts of U.S. history and culture. Not only that, but Forrest Gump is one of the most well-known movies in English. Lines like,
Life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
And
Run, Forrest, run!
are iconic, and you will hear them throughout your journey learning and speaking English.
They just couldn't believe that somebody would do all that running for no particular reason.
Why are you doing this?
I just felt like running. I just felt like running.
Wow, that was a lot of movies. Which one are you most excited about watching? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to Fluent U and hit the notification button so you never miss more great English learning content. Thanks for watching and see you next time.
Just spin around. God damn.
Wait a second. I'll go over.
Okay. Stop pulling. Can you just hold on?
We got Alan, just relax.
Yeah.
There we go. Good.